Okay, this is the engine compartment of a really, really neat color combination here. Black, 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 everything black on this guy. Plymouth Roadrunner. 383 engine. We don't know if its number's correct yet or not. We'll look once we get up underneath it. We'll take a look, see what we can find. It is a aluminum intake manifold on it. It should have a smaller air cleaner. This air cleaner is off of a 1970, but it still works well. It has Roadrunner designation on it. Mopar finned aluminum valve pan covers. High flow, high capacity. Looks like 26-inch radiator in it. New battery. Power steering. Full stage master cylinder. Original washer bottle on it. This guy does have a Presto-Lite cast iron distributor in it, which is a pretty rare item. I think it's worth some money. It does have the lube port on the side of it. You can oil the main shaft on it with an oil can. And it is a cast iron design, which almost dictates that it's a dual point distributor. High silicone plug wires on it, new cap. Does have a set of 1 3/4, 1 7/8, can't really tell, long tube headers on it. There's no leaks whatsoever evident on the valve pan covers on the driver's side or the passenger side or the intake manifold. I don't see any leakage whatsoever on the top of this motor. At least at this point there is absolutely no oil seepage or leakage whatsoever on this engine. New alternator, new belts. It has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blade solid fan, not a clutch fan. Correct Roadrunner horn, purple just the way it should be. The numbers are on the core support here, which they also coincide with the numbers on the VIN tag. This car's never been in any accidents. It's never been distressed in any way. Had it been, this would have been damaged and replaced. It isn't. It still has the original numbers on it there. This thing is painted gloss black, as nice as you'd see on the outside. That's how nice the engine compartment is also finished. And the underhood. It does have an underhood isolator for heat pad. I don't see anything in this engine compartment that's negative. Everything is just as nice as can be. It does have power steering. Boy, this is a nice car. It's a really nice car in the front here. Great engine compartment, 383. They made some serious horsepower. They were an overachiever. They rated them at 335 horsepower, and certainly they produced a lot more than that, especially once the distributor was recurved and the carb redone and that, and a set of headers added to it. These cars made some pretty decent horsepower and ran very, very well. So great engine compartment. We're going to go around the rest of it and show you what we can there. Hi, you're at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida, and today we're going to present a 1968 Plymouth Roadrunner to you. It's a real RM car. I don't know if it's the correct motor or not. We haven't really checked the numbers on it yet, but at this point we're just selling it as a 68 Roadrunner, which we know it is, and we don't know about the documentation or if the numbers match on the car. Obviously it's a black car, and everybody at this point in time loves black cars. Seems like we can't keep them. This is the only one that's all black that's in the building at the time. We've had a couple other ones. As soon as we get them, gone. Okay, fitment of the hood. I almost hate to touch this thing and smear it up. I really do. Should have worn a pair of gloves. Fitment of the hood, 1/8 of an inch the whole way. You can see that. This hood fits really well. And this is a very nice paint job. I don't see any imperfections in it, and it's black. So when Devin shows you a cross-section of this vehicle, you can see the reflection in it. There are no imperfections in it. No dents, no dings, no scratches, no marks whatsoever on the nose of this thing. 1/8 inch on this side the whole way back, and you can see it transitions across the cowl area the same way. The fitment is just absolutely gorgeous on the front of this car. Look at this. Plymouth designation on the front. Usually these grills are kind of deteriorated with age, and some of these windows are broken out of them. This one is not. This one appears to be all original. The anodized aluminum finish on it is just as fresh and clean as you'd ever want to find. I don't feel any dents or marks. Headlight buckets the same way. The whole way across this thing. It's absolutely gorgeous. You very seldom see a 68 Roadrunner that has that degree of quality in a front grille on these things. It seems like they deteriorate with age. This one does not have that issue, absolutely none. Filler panel. There's no chips, no marks in it. Front bumper. And that one, guys, is right on. That bumper fitment is gorgeous, and you can see that from the video also. The fitment of that bumper cannot be any better than it is now. Amber parking lights in the front. No chips on the front of the bumper. No stone marks from something being thrown up through the years. No one has put their feet up across the top of the bumper, so there's no scratches or marks or scuffs in any way on the chrome finish on it. Great front end of this car. I mean, you cannot get a nicer looking car than that. We've been really lucking out. A lot of these cars that we've been presenting to you in the last, got to be at least the last 10 of them, there have been like almost no issues whatsoever. A little tiny adjustment here or there, maybe a little scuff on the paint or something, but that's it. And we're talking about 50-year-old cars here, you know. This is about as nice as it gets, especially if you're into black. This is something you got to take a look at. Let's go down the driver's side, see what we can point out for you there. Okay, driver's side of our 68 Roadrunner RM23 car. Okay. Side marker light, round for 1968, really nice. Look at the fitment of this. Are you kidding? Look, it does not get any better than that. We've been really hitting these things spot on lately. I can't believe it. You know, it seems like the last 10 we've done, everything is fit just as precise as you could ever hope to find. Correct wiper arms, correct wiper blades. Again, the correct fasteners, 6-sided rivets that hold the vent plate in place, trim around the front window. No dinghies whatsoever on this side. Dash pad, there's no cracks, no splits, no warpage whatsoever. The painted area in the front, the metal part that transitions down to the base of the windshield, everything is really nice and clean and just as fit as can possibly be. Tinted windshield in the front, a little sunshade fade on the top of it here. And nice dash area, very, very nice and clean. Roof, just like the hood, like everything else on this car, there's no imperfections, no dents, no dings, no scratches. Really a nice fit car. I'm getting ahead of myself here. No patina at all on the wing area. Absolutely zipped, none. These are not the correct Mopar mirrors, but they actually look pretty good on the car. There's matching one on the passenger side also. So we're going to leave them as they are, but I don't know what they're off of, but they're definitely not a Mopar mirror. Roadrunner, little Roadrunner designation, 468, different for 69, and Roadrunner badge on it. Wipes, whiskers, new, just as nice as you'd ever want to find. Door handle the same way, nice and clean, and nice finish on it. Look at this, unreal. Window fitment, same way. Tinted glass on the sides also. Look at the front window to the rear window, the fitment. It's absolutely gorgeous. Can't get any better than that. Drip rail. No marks, nothing's fallen against it through the years. It really looks great. You know, this door could go in. It fits nicely, but it could go in just a hair. I think maybe we're going to give that just a little bit of a tweak in now that I see it from this angle. Certainly within production standards, but we're going to go ahead and make it a little better. Make it fit just a little bit better for you. Sail panel, no deviations or anything in it. Usually you can see where the quarter panel and the roof come together just the way they were from the factory. This has been attended to so that it's not evident any longer. Correct window in the back with the absolutely gorgeous trim around it. There's no marks whatsoever. Hat rack or shelf in the rear is new and just as fresh and nice and clean as can possibly be. Quarter panel, tin. Paint on this car is very nice. Still haven't really found a mark or a chip or a ding or anything. I haven't seen an imperfection in this body yet. Absolutely not one. Little round marker light in the back, the way it should be. And that's the entire driver's side. I don't see a mark or a scuff or a chip or anything. That door got to go in just a tiny bit. It definitely, that bothers me. It has to go in just a little tiny bit, not much. Certainly within production standards, it probably came that way in '68, but we're going to refine it a little bit for you, make it fit a little better. 15-inch Kelsey Hayes wheels with a set of BFG white letters on it. Everybody's choice for a tire on these vehicles, but that is the wheel to have on these vehicles. Rally wheels are nice, but for '68, you had your choice of a dog dish or that guy, and or a hubcap. So this particular one is the optional wheel. Those are probably 8-inch in the back, 7 inches in the front, I'm going to guess, but they are 15-inch Kelsey Hayes wheels and the style of wheel that would have been an option on this car in 1968. Great addition to this car. Let's see what we can find out back. Okay, this is the rear section of our Roadrunner. Rear deck is just as the hood was. Absolute flawless fitment. Look at this. It cannot possibly fit any better than it does there. And I wish you could see it. Hopefully Devin can show you in the photography that he does the finish on this car. I haven't seen one dent or mark or deviation in this vehicle yet. And it's a black car. And every little tiny imperfection will show up on a black car. And I haven't seen one yet. This is certainly much better than a driver quality paint job on this vehicle. It does have the center section in the back, which was optional on a Roadrunner, a little trim package addition to it. Trim around the tail lights is really nice. This back panel the same way. There's no deterioration whatsoever on it. Back bumper. Just like the front one. There's no way to fit that any better than it is. That is spot on. You cannot find a better fitting bumper than that. The correct style, exhaust tips out back. Backup lenses are nice and clear, so are your brake and tail light lenses, just as nice as they would have been in 1968. The chrome on the back bumper is absolutely flawless, just like the one on the front. There's no marks on the back. There's no dents or dingies or chips or anything out of the chrome. And again, on top here, no one's made any attempt to stand on it or scuff it in any way. The front and back bumper are absolutely as new on this vehicle. I wish you could just see this paint. I know you can in the video, but it's a phenomenal paint job on this car. It's black and it really shows up well, very, very well. We got one more side to show you. Okay, last side, passenger side. Side marker lights, nice fitment. Quarter panel. Tin everywhere. Trim around the back light. Same as the other side. No marks, no dents whatsoever. Don't feel anything out of line on it. Paint on this car is just phenomenal. Again, look at the sail panel here. It's just there's no imperfections in it whatsoever. The whole car looks like it's wet. That's how nice the finish is on this vehicle. It is absolutely that nice. Now this door I don't have to touch. This one is absolutely as spot on as you could get. Wipes whiskers, nice and fresh and new. Drip rail. No imperfections, no dingies or marks whatsoever. Trim around your wing area, no patina. It's all nice and fresh chrome on it, just the way it should be. Tinted glass on the sides. Window fitment on this side is the same as the other side. It's just spot on. It can't be any better. Again, another mirror that matches that mirror. They actually are very attractive mirrors. They're a nice set of mirrors, and they function just the way they should. So we'll probably leave them alone, but they're not Mopar mirrors. But there's nothing wrong with the quality of them. Door handle, the chrome on it is absolutely perfect. Our Roadrunner designation, Roadrunner badge, Pentastar, just the way it should be. Front fitment. Look at this. This is totally amazing. It really is amazing that you have a car that's black that has that type of fitment and this kind of finish on it. The paint on this car is absolutely beautiful. Same thing, marker light, and we're back up where we started again. Forgot to mention 383 designation on your power bulge hood. Real nice addition. Whenever they came out with the Roadrunners, they put these hoods on them and they really had a nice look to them. 383 car, I don't know if its number is correct or not. It really doesn't make any difference. We're going to price it accordingly. The paint on this car is just exemplary. We went around this entire vehicle. The only thing I found that's a slight adjustment is that door needs to go in just a bit. Very, very little bit. Other than that, I couldn't find a mark, a scuff, a chip. Absolutely no imperfections in the paint at all. Got a set of Kelsey wheels on it. 15-inch, bigger ones in the back. BFG white letters. The chrome is just impeccable front and rear, and all around your window trim too. That's as nice as can be. So you got a black car with a black interior in it with, well, black windows, tinted glass windows, and Kelsey wheels, 383 68 Roadrunner. This is just a great car to have. It's a very, very difficult combination to get. You know, when we get black cars with a black interior, it just seems like it don't last very long. Even the black ones with white interiors don't last too long either. They're gone. But black right now seems to be the in color. In fact, we just had a Camaro, the only other black car we've had here for the last, I don't know, 3-4 weeks. And I think it lasted, I don't know, 2 days, maybe. Maybe not even that long. But this is a nice looking Roadrunner. The paint is just absolutely stunning on it. It's available here at Hanksters in Daytona Beach. We went over this entire car, circumnavigated it. Devin's going to go show you about 90 still photos of this high resolution. And we encourage everybody to come down and take a look at these cars. Drive them, get underneath it. We put it up on a rack. You can spend all day with the car if you want. That way you're happy with your purchase. But we know that everybody can't. You know, people have jobs, they have families. They live in Maine, they live in Oregon, California. So they're not going to come. They're going to have to rely on what we show them on our videos. And we really try our very best, absolutely our best, to show you every little imperfection that we can, both cosmetically and mechanically on these vehicles. So we just showed you the cosmetics on the outside of this one. Take a look at it. Hanksters in Daytona Beach. Okay, the interior of our 1968 Plymouth Roadrunner. Nice headliner, nice and tight. The back seat, front seats have been reupholstered. It's not the absolute correct pattern that would be on this car for a bucket seat car in 1968, but it is a very attractive, high-grade vinyl interior, and they also match the door panels with it, so it's obviously something that you wouldn't change. Is it absolutely correct? No, but it's actually nicer than the ones that Plymouth released in 1968 for this car. Dash pad itself, no cracks or anything, no warpage. Instrument cluster just as clean as you'd ever want to hope to find one. And it has a temp gauge, fuel gauge, amp gauge, wheel radio, just the way they came in 1968. Does have a console. Console and buckets were an option. Late in the year. They came out with them late in the year that you could do that. Does have a console, floor shift. The steering wheel has a cover over it. I can't really tell you if there are any cracks in it or not. I don't feel any. It doesn't feel as though there are any separations in it. So they probably just put this on just as something to give you a better adhesion, better grab onto the steering wheel. The horn ring itself with the Roadrunner designation in the center is absolutely as nice as you'd ever want to find. Loop carpeting in it, just the way it would have been in 1968. Console's really nice. The sides are nice. There's no cracks. There's no warpage. This lid needs to be tightened down so that it's not coming loose. They use some cheap, like pressed tin nuts to hold this down, and you can actually get a nut that'll thread on there that'll hold it back into place where it should be. So that we need to correct for you. Sun visor is really, really nice. I don't see anything really deteriorating on them. Mirror itself, there's no milkiness or no fade in it, and it is a day-night mirror. There are no seat belts in the rear of this or in the front of it. We're definitely going to put belts in the front. The rear we usually leave alone, but the front is definitely going to have a complement of seat belts in it. We have to do that. The panels in the back also have been replaced. They're just as nice as you'd want the side panels. The door handles themselves to open the doors and the molded armrests are just as fresh and nice as can be. And the panel that's chrome-plated plastic that goes behind the door armrest is also new. It's also new chrome-plated plastic. Window cranks just as clean as can possibly be. Sill molding, original, but really, really nice. They haven't been replaced, nor do they need to be. The remainder of the dash in the front is just as nice as you'd ever want to find. I don't see any issues whatsoever with anything in the interior of this car. A couple little adjustments. Got to fix that for you for sure. We got to put a couple belts in the front. Other than that, you got yourself an absolute superstar of a triple black 68 Plymouth Roadrunner. We got a horn that works. Let's see, left turn signal, just blinking away just like it should, had oughta. And there's a right one doing its act. And we got an alternator gauge functioning just like it should. We have our standard less than a quarter of a tank of fuel here at Hanksters. We have a temperature gauge that isn't moving yet, but hopefully will sometime in the near future. We just started this up though, so it's too early to judge. And we got wipers that work, which is a good thing, especially if it's raining. Okay, let's go for a ride. See what this guy runs like. Run down the road here. Let's see what we should. Shift's nice and firm, just nice and clean the way it should. Has a nice sound to it. Let's see what we got here for steering resolution. Can't do it yet because if I let go here, everything always goes to the left. See? It's starting to go to the left. I don't care if it's a new Porsche, it'll go to the left. So the road flattens out up on top here, and there we go. Straight as an arrow. Okay, let's try brakes and hands. Let me get up here where the road's a little wider. Straight as an arrow. Stops as nice as can be. Speedometer's working just like it should. It appears to function as it should. Looks like this guy's starting to come up a little bit now. Nice, cool running car. Nice tight steering. Very nice high resolution steering system on it. No play whatsoever in it, which is unusual for these old cars with power steering. These guys get a little bit ahead here. Too much traffic out. I can't let this thing loose today. Got too much traffic. But it shifts up really nicely. Nice shifts the whole way, second and third. Down the road, straight as an arrow. You can't ask for better steering, better handling car. It's a nice, tight car. There's a rattle in this left door. It's driving me crazy. There is something rattling in this door that we definitely have to address. You can hear it. Something. Doesn't have anything to do with the window, but it's rattling. You gotta fix that. It drives me crazy. It'll drive you crazy too. So it's something we have to take a look at. But nice, tight running car. Temperature's starting to come up as it should. But a nice, cool running car also. 26-inch high-flow radiator in it, and just a nice, tight running car. If somebody wants a nice black Roadrunner, this is the guy. This is definitely your guy if you're in the market for one. Okay, this is the undercarriage of our black 68 Plymouth Roadrunner. Really a nice car. It does have drum brakes in the front and drum brakes in the rear. It does not have discs in the front. It has power steering, new shocks in the front, Motor's been out and completely freshened up. You can see that. Everything on the side of it has been addressed. It is not a numbers matching engine to the car. I just checked. It's a 69 motor. This is 68 car, but it is a Hypo 383 in the car. Does not have a shield across the front here. A lot of these cars down in the southern states, they leave that off or leave the bottom part of the bell housing off on GM cars especially to let them get a little bit of air up in there to help keep the transmission fluid a little bit colder. A couple little dinghies on the exhaust pipes here on the header system. Long tube set of headers on a conventional starter. 3-inch collectors going into a 2.5-inch pipe going into, I'm going to call them 2.25-inch pipes. A couple jack marks where the jack stands were, and the jack was through the years lifting this car up on the front subframe there. One little one here, a couple over there, one little tiny one there. There is, I don't know why it's there because I can't even see where it's leaking from. There's a couple drips of oil here. I can't even see where it came from. So maybe when they changed oil or something on the filter it dripped around here, but there's nothing evident around the base gasket on the oil pan, absolutely none. There is a few drops, there are a few drops on the oil pan for the transmission. It looks as though it's brand new. You can see the gasket itself has just been put on, and I think it just needs tightened up a little bit. We'll have to get Donnie to get that a little snug up. Not enough to drip, but a little tiny bit of seepage. And this car's been sitting in our shop for a while, so if anything has, any drippage problems, it would show up now, and that's all that I can see. Not even enough to drip, but we'll snug it up a little bit. No leaks whatsoever on the speedometer cable. No leaks whatsoever on the rear of the transmission, the tail shaft. New universal joints in the drive shaft front and rear. Floor pans themselves are the original pans. They don't appear that they've ever been disrupted in any way. I don't see anything that's been compromised on them at all. No marks on either one of the fender skirts coming down in your wheel wells in the front where they join onto the subframe assemblies. The structural pieces underneath both sides of the floor pans are all original and nice, really, really nice as can be. Floor pans themselves the same way. I can't really see anything that's been disrupted. Just found something. Somebody must have jacked it up at one point on here on the floor pan. You can see that it's been pounded back down. Again, nothing to compromise this thing structurally in any way, but there is a mark there. You really have to look to see it, but it is evident. It is there. Parking brake assembly, original and going back toward the rear and functional. And I did say new shocks in the front. It does have new shocks in the rear. Flowmaster mufflers in the under chassis of this car. And these are 2 1/4 in. I'm going to call them 2 1/4 out also. They look like a pretty substantial set of pipes going outside there. Springs in the back still have some nice arch to them. Both sides are nice, and the torque boxes in the front are undisrupted. Nobody made any attempts to jack them up on those from what I can see. Pull mark here in the hole where it was tied down at one point of its life during transport. And it has a 8 3/4 heavy-duty Mopar rear end in it also. These things are pretty much indestructible. No marks on the trunk pans where the subframes go up over and transition toward the back, up over the differential. The floor pans in the trunk appear to be all original and really, really nice. Subframes the same way. They're totally undisrupted. I don't see anything on them that even indicates any deterioration through the years. Nothing. Zero. Again, the trunk pan the whole way across just looks as nice and clean as you'd ever want to find. I don't see anything at all on it. The bottoms of the fender well, or the quarter panels the same way. And gas tank has no dents, no marks whatsoever on it. The straps holding it and the insulation pieces are nice and resilient yet. I see absolutely nothing underneath this car. A couple little indents that I showed you on the subframes here, which is normal usage through the years. People jacking these things up and servicing them through the years. You're obviously going to have a mark here or there underneath the chassis. But that's it. Little tiny bit of seepage here. We got to tighten that up. New gasket. All new tranny. You can see the transmission's just been serviced. All new gaskets, all new. So that's not going to be an issue. We do have to address that for you, though. Other than that, you got yourself a really nice 68 Plymouth Roadrunner that has an absolute gorgeous undercarriage to it. Relatively new driveline. Everything freshened up in a transmission and engine. Not a numbers matching engine, but it is definitely an RM Roadrunner. It's not a clone. It didn't start life as a Satellite or a Belvedere. This guy started life as a Roadrunner and a hardtop Roadrunner. And you got triple black and a fantastic, fantastic rust-free vehicle. Take a look at it. Hangsters and Daytona Beach.